sounds like the call of the wild. Hello, this is the Lipstick Pickup Rare Bird Hotline.
Hey, Emily, this is Rob calling from New York City. You got any
Rob
rare birds down
Mastrianni,
there?
New York City Park Ranger.
That's me.
I'm a rare bird, and you are too. Welcome back to
Thank
the
you. Good to be back.
Lipstick Pickup Podcast. Rob Mastrianni.
Oh, great to be here. As you know, I'm a huge fan of lipstick tubes, and I love what you're doing with the podcast. Just showcasing that amazing, musical technology and tone.
Yes.
It's all about the tone. It looks cool. Lipstick tubes are the coolest looking pickups.
Yes. It has been almost a year since I had you on my podcast the first time. I believe it was in January of 2025. My big year got off to a big start
That's true.
with Rob Mastrianni. I'm going to introduce him to my listeners again and remind them that I met Rob Mastrianni online on the internet on the Rare Bird Hotline, modern day,
That's right.
in winter 2021 via hashtags. He is a resident of New York and the island of Manhattan, and he is a New York City Park Ranger, and he is also a longtime electric sitar lipstick pickup birding enthusiast. And we met each other on Instagram. I learned so much from you about these instruments, about the history of them. You have been one of my longest standing and most helpful park rangers, or as I like to say, Electric Sitar University. You were the first man I met on campus.
That's a fun campus. That's right. Yeah, so we did meet through the hashtag. I think it was Electric Sitar or Choral Sitar on Instagram. And then we met in person when I was playing a gig at Marshall Stack during the lockdown times. So they had me playing in the window while people were outside of the venues because no one was allowed in venues and stuff, all that craziness. But yeah, so that's when we met, yeah.
But I've seen you perform. That's now been over 4 years ago. And
Right.
I've seen you perform all over the city in many capacities. And some of them are some of my most fond New York memories. I have to tell you that I've seen you in so many places. The wonderful Russian place I used to see you, it was called Anyway Cafe.
Yep. Anyway Cafe, yeah. It was a, classic East Village, New York City spot hangout for musicians, like poets, writers, cinematographers. So it was a great little hub, one of the last ones, and that was there since the 90s, and it closed unfortunately in, was it 2023, the winter of 23 or 24? So yeah, we missed that place. So that was like a little hub or, for musicians to hang out and play. And yeah, great staff there.
Yeah, a shout out to you for turning me on to that place, because not only did I get to see you perform on several occasions, one of them was extremely memorable. The first time I went, I had some of the greatest, what you call blintzes or crepes.
Yeah,
And
great food there.
also, all of your tribal dance buddies showed up and put on one incredible floor show.
That's how we would throw a belly dance party there once a week, what I would play, and then there would be different styles of belly dancers or flamenco dancers.
Yeah. It's a tiny little spot, by the way. It was, I don't know, it may be 600 or 700 square feet at the most with the little
Right.
patio. And I had some memorable nights there watching you perform. And then I also saw you at a variety show at the Secret Room in Hell's Kitchen. My husband Kevin was with me, and I was actually going back through my phone the other day and looking at videos of that night, and boy, that was something to see. I looked at the videos and I said, I keep reading about this thing called the male loneliness epidemic, and I think any of these males that are lonely should go to the Secret Room and watch Rob and your friend on Beatbox. What is his name that you perform with?
Oh, my friend Pete List, yeah, human beatboxer. Yeah, he's incredible vocal percussionist, yeah. Yeah, so that was, we had a duo called Beatbox Guitar, and we would play for a lot of these belly dance parties for many years. He's out in Italy now.
Do you? I've seen you perform a bunch. I've seen your apartment. I had to see your perch up
Right,
there on what
way
is
uptown.
the area that you call there overlooking the Hudson where you live?
So yeah, right on the west side by the Hudson River. It's like Washington Heights,
Yeah,
and also known as Hudson Heights because it's so close to the Hudson River. So it's
yeah.
got a good view of the river, the George Washington Bridge, and the Palisades Cliffs. And what I love about it, I don't have any curtains because it's just facing the river, so I could look for raptors and birds, which I do see often. I see bald eagles, I see peregrine falcons that nest on the towers of the George Washington Bridge. And of course, red-tailed hawks. And I have a family of crows that live next door to me, so they fly by my window every day. So yeah, it's a good perch for a bird nerd.
I wanted to see it because I know that area, Manhattan, and it is beautiful. But I also wanted to see your colossal collection of lipstick pickup guitars.
Yeah, did we do a count of all the lipstick pickups in the apartment? I forgot, but there's a lot.
Do you still have the same amount of guitars, or have you sold any lipstick pickup guitars
Um,
since we've
I
done
still
that
got all my
count?
lipstick. Yeah, I think I still have all my lipsticks. I haven't sold any of those, but yeah,
Many,
still
many
got them.
guitars. You
Yeah, there's a
have
lot.
how many electric sitars?
Let's see. I got this really nice looking blue one right here, and then I have a green one, a red one, a white one.
Mm,
This is a Jerry Jones. This one is probably from the mid to late '90s.
yeah.
It's a rare finish. I don't know if you could see it with the lighting, but it's like a turquoise blue with a white crackle in there, which I really
Oh, I
love.
did not know that's white crackle.
Yeah, this one's got like a cream kind of crackle to it.
That's
You can see it.
badass.
I love it. Yeah.
That
And then
is actually a very rare color because I've not seen those. And you have
and then
green.
the green one has the black crackle in it.
Yeah.
And that's the one I perform with a lot with me a lot. But this one, I have it because I found it on, I
Amazing.
guess on Reverb a couple years back, bumping into stuff. But yeah, it's a beauty. I love it. I love that crackle finish. Yeah, Jerry Jones was the man. I loved all his
Yeah, it's
instruments that he
great.
built in Nashville. Yeah, so there's a lot.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to give you credit for in our second podcast because this is a round trip, just like a migratory year. You were the one who enabled me and also encouraged me to purchase my first one.
That's right.
Enabler is a very good word to use. It's all your fault, Rob Mastrianni.
Oh, I'm happy to be part of that. Yeah, decision making.
I still have them, and the list has grown to six of them. And
Oh wow.
speaking of Call of the Wild, I do hear that people say that these guitars belong in the hands of people who play them, and I want people to know that I have a couple of them for sale. I have a Jerry Jones baby sitar that Rob is the reason I bought that one. He's the one who encouraged me to buy that one. Your
That's a nice
fault.
one. No.
And then I also have a Vinnie Bell one for sale that
Oh,
I
nice.
want to sell. So
Cool.
we'll plug that on here. I've got
Yeah.
it's all original in beautiful condition, except for one tuner that's been replaced. I've got that for
Okay.
sale.
Cool.
Hey, do you have anything for sale that you want to pimp?
I might have a Jerry Jones 12 string. It's a beautiful one. It's the red one. It's like the Jimmy Page style, the short horn. Yeah, I could bust it out maybe a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah.
I might sell it. But I don't know. I like holding on to the Jerry Jones stuff. Since he retired, my
Yeah,
collection kind of grew after 2011 of my Jerry Jones guitars.
it's
There was one
treasure.
on there was one on Reverb I was eyeing. It was one of those little shorties. It was a Longhorn Shorty 12 string. It's a short scale, kind of like a mandolin. It
Mm-hmm.
was in copper burst. It was beautiful. It was just on Reverb last week, and I didn't bite. I was gonna. I was like, all right, let me wait a day, and then it was gone.
Do you
But
mind
yeah,
if
those
I
were
ask
cool.
how much it was, if you remember?
I think it was going for like 2,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, or 22.
I'm sure
Just
there
those are rare. Yeah.
Yeah, those I'm sure there's some people who look at that and go, "Why is that guitar $2,000?" But you think it's worth $2,000, don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah, because they're so rare now and hard to come by. So
I know
yeah.
that one. It sounds like a mandolin,
Hmm.
that little short
Yeah.
one. I've had people send me videos of them playing that one, and it is rare. It's a very rare.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones, and also a unique instrument.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a longhorn and it's
Mm-hmm.
sawed off
Right.
and it
Yeah.
sounds
It's got
like
a
a
very
mandolin.
yeah yeah very chimey. And I've seen salsa guys in salsa bands use it because it's similar to like the sound used in salsa, the what do you call it, the quattro, on
Yeah,
the double chorused little mini guitars that they use for that music, and it does the same kind of, it cuts through with that same frequency,
yeah.
as that instrument with the doubled string. So yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's a beauty.
Mando.
But yes.
Anyway, we've been friends for nearly 5 years now. That actually would be 5 years as long as I've been working on
Yeah.
this thing. You got me off to my big year, off to a great start when we recorded a podcast in January of last year, and you had a new record to talk about then,
Mm-hmm.
Airwaves. I've
Right.
listened to it a lot this year, and I really love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a fun album to make. Yeah, it was a little ambitious. I recorded 17 songs and put them all on one album instead of breaking it up through the year. But I was excited the way it sounded from start to finish, kind of like taking the listener on a journey. That was the goal. Yeah, so it's good driving music. If you're out driving out in the Southwest or something, just start that album. If you have a long road trip, it's a good soundtrack for the road.
It's very nature oriented, the
Hmm.
sound of the record. And that's why it is a great driving record. You know, it sounds like nature and you're very connected in nature. You're a New York City Park Ranger and you work in nature, and that's also one of your, for lack of a better word, inspirations behind music is,
Hmm.
nature, and so it suits.
Absolutely.
It's a full migratory year since we talked last,
Right.
and that's why I wanted to book in this year with a return to you because you continue to get increasingly interested in these harp guitars, which
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
find fascinating. And
I got
as
one
we
right here.
pointed out before, the electric sitar was your gateway drug,
Yeah, to these extra strings here.
gateway drug to harp guitars.
That is true. So this one, so right now in New York City, it's getting very cold, and my apartment's kind of cold. So a lot of my instruments aren't staying in
Yeah.
tune too good at the moment. But this one is, because this one's made out of carbon fiber, and it's got 20 strings. So you got the guitar in the middle, just a regular guitar, standard tuning. Then you
Hmm.
got what's called super trebles here, 8. So you could, do all kinds of stuff. Then over here, you got the sub bass harp. So these you hit with your thumb, and this is called a hollow arm. So this part is hollow. Some people
Hmm.
think it's a double neck, but it's not a double neck. This is called an arm, even though it looks like a long leg, sexy leg or something.
I guess somebody would look at that and go, "Oh, it's a double neck," but it's not.
Right.
Yeah,
See, that's the hollow arm. So that's the bass side. So this is an instrument that someone who likes to spend a lot of time alone will get.
because you
It's a
don't need
great,
a you don't need a
yeah,
band.
greatest for solo artists because once you get the hang of it, you could use your thumb to grab the bass notes for the bass line. So that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun because you get your right hand moving a lot. And yeah, so I've been spending a lot of time with this instrument. Been writing a lot, so I want to put out a harp guitar, like solo harp guitar record, just some instrumentals, that I've been working on with this instrument, all finger style. So yeah, just in November I was at the Harp Guitar Conference, and that's my third time going, and I believe it was their 23rd year doing it. And there's some incredible players there. This guy Stephen Bennett, he's an incredible like award-winning fingerstyle guitarist, internationally known, lots of records, and he's been doing it a long time. But he was one of the first guys to help get the popularity back with the harp guitar and creating this community of this little niche in the guitar world. These harp guitarists from all around the world get together once a year, and this year it was in Arkansas. It was hosted by this guy Travis Bowman. He's a great harp guitarist, great fingerstyle guy, and yeah, it was just very inspiring to be around all these people. You had Stephen Bennett, Antoine Dufar was there. He played an amazing set and did a little workshop. I got to perform a couple of my tunes, and yeah, it was just such a great inspiration. So yeah, and the reason why I got into this was when I was a kid, I was a big fan of this guy Michael Hedges, and he was like probably the rock star fingerstyle guitar in the '80s. He played solo guitar, kind of out of that whole new age Windham Hill label that was popular back then. But he
Mm-hmm.
was in his own, he had his own thing going on. He was super innovative, original sound, different alternate tunings. But anyway, he wrote a piece called "Because It's There" on a harp guitar. Look it up on YouTube. You can see him playing it, and it's just mesmerizing. What he did. So as a kid, I was like, "Oh my god, I got to find one of those." And they were super rare. You couldn't find. It was really hard to find harp guitars
When
when
you
I was growing
say a
up.
kid, you mean what age? Because I'm curious when you bought your
Oh
first
yeah.
one.
So no, this is like probably in 12, 13, 15. And I got to see him when I was like 15 years old, play at the Bottom Line. And I saw him every year. When he was on tour, he would stop at the Bottom Line, which is a legendary club that was in the West Village. Great sound system, and he would do two sets. And I was this kid who would get there early, sit up close. Luckily they let me in. I guess they were all ages shows back then. It was like a supper club.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go with a couple friends from Brooklyn, and yeah, we would just be mesmerized by him just playing solo guitar and harp guitar, and he sang too. Incredible, yeah. It's a great inspiration, Michael Hedges. So
I
anyway,
saw him once.
oh wow, where'd you get to see him?
And I saw him at the Variety Playhouse in Atlanta, Georgia, and I still have this ticket
Whoa,
stub.
nice. Do you remember what year that was?
I do because mainly because I went.
Oh,
I went with a date, and my boyfriend, who was an aspiring guitar player, loved Michael Hedges, and he
right
took
on.
me. It probably, as much as I enjoyed it, it's probably a show I wouldn't have been the
Mm-hmm.
catalyst for going. And so I remember this would be 1993. It was
Oh,
one of
right
our
on.
first dates,
That's great.
and
That's yeah.
anyway,
That was a
I
good tour.
remember the performance more fondly than I remember that guy. That's all I'm going to
Right,
say.
right. Well, that's cool.
Just kidding. That's mean. But yeah, I saw Michael Hedges at the Variety Playhouse.
That's
It's
great.
small theater kind of
That must
place.
have been amazing, yeah. So yeah, so he like helped spark this whole interest in the harp guitar again, because this instrument, they were built in Europe and Italy and Germany, this kind of style, and then kind of disappeared. But it started to make a resurgence in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Gibson would make a harp guitar,
Hmm.
and there would be these mandolin orchestras where they had mandolins, mandocellos, and a harp guitar that Gibson would make, and it was in all their catalogs up until probably 1920s or 1912. I can't remember, but yeah, so it was part of American history too. And so yeah, so
Interesting.
growing up, yeah, it was hard to find these instruments, but I would say the past I don't know 15 years, there's a lot more luthiers building them all around the country, all around the world. I think thanks to like YouTube videos by like guys like Andy McKee, he helped like also bring a whole new generation of harp guitar, fans, and that
Hmm.
sparked luthiers building them. So this one here is built by Emerald Guitar, and they're based out in Ireland, in Donegal, and he's really the guy, Alistair Hay. He's really innovative because he used this, carbon fiber, because that's a lot of tension with all these strings, in a body. But what's cool is there's a wooden veneer, so it looks like it's wood. It's got a flame maple wooden veneer, which I love. It kind of looks like a Les Paul style top. So yeah, and it stays in tune really well, just because it's carbon fiber. And then this is more of a traditional one. This one, my buddy makes this one. It's Tone Devil guitars.
Hmm.
And this one's got nylon strings, and this is like more of a traditional like looking shape to it that they
Yeah.
would make, and it's modeled after the symphony harp guitar, the Dyer harp guitar, and
Hmm.
made by the Larson brothers, and that was made out west. Yeah, I can't remember where, but St. Louis, and they also made them out in the Northwest Coast too. Yeah, during the 1920s. So
I
yeah,
have
this
a
one's got cool wood.
question.
Yeah.
When we first started talking, you were telling me it's cold in your apartment and that some of your guitars are temperamental right now, but that
Yeah,
one that's carbon
especially that one.
fiber,
This
the
one's
one
not.
you were just holding is the one
Yeah,
that is
I'm having a
okay.
little tuning issue. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I have to fix that one, or once it warms up in here, I'll probably be okay. But this one, yeah, no problem with the tuning. So yeah, I could plug it in too. Let's see what it sounds like. So I could play a short little piece if you want.
Yeah.
If you want to hear a little something, let's see.
Pull on my harp strings.
Let's see. This one's kind of fun to do because this one I incorporate all the strings, in this one, the bass and the trebles and the guitar part. Just a little snippet of what it could do. It's such a fun instrument. Yeah. I mean,
When
I
you
could get lost playing this.
travel with a harp guitar, do you always want to take that carbon
Yeah.
fiber one?
Yeah, this one's a great travel guitar for sure. I mean, it's big, but I usually bring it if it's in the overhead if they're nice, if there isn't, full flight. But yeah, no, it's pretty sturdy, and yeah, it's like I said, a lot of fun to play. It's a whole other
When
universe,
I was when I was at your apartment, you had one that was designed to pack away well. Is that the
Oh
one
yes, I still have
that
that one.
that
Yeah,
you took it out? Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah. It
No,
comes out
no
of a
need to
back
show it
pocket.
to me, but that
Yeah,
was an
it's somewhere in
impressive
here.
feat too.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. I think you have a video of me taking it apart and putting it back together. Yeah, that one is incredible. It fits into a little
That's
backpack, and
great.
that one's built by Lucas Brunner out in Switzerland, and that was built for Muriel Anderson, who's an incredible fingerstyle guitarist. She's based out in Nashville. She's part of the harp guitar scene. So yeah, so if you look her up, yeah, you'll see a lot of great harp guitar videos of her. But yeah, I actually bought it from her back in 2023. And it's
How
such a
many
cool
harp
instrument.
guitars do you have?
So let's see. Right now, I have this one. I have a backup one of this, the Tone Devil from Dave Powell and his brother Tone make that one out in Idaho. What else? Yeah, and then the travel one. Oh, and I have one that I got a couple years back. It's like kind of like the entry level one by Timberline. So yeah, so I don't know what is that 5 for? Five, I guess.
Right now, this one really has when I say this one, you have a lot of different guitars and you've
Mm-hmm.
used them to perform and
Right.
also used them to record. And right now, the harp guitar really has your heart for like,
Right. Yeah, it definitely does.
it kind of has your attention right now. I
Yeah.
can see it building.
Right, yeah, because it's just a cool instrument. It's, I always looked up to like piano players how they could just sit and just play alone and play all the sound. So
Hmm.
I think of that with this guitar because you have such a wide range like a piano. From the low end all the way up to the high octave.
Yeah.
So you could really get creative. And when it's nice out in the spring and all the birds are singing, I'll sit in the park or in the woods somewhere with this instrument and just like get inspired by everything that's around where I'm sitting, and it's just you have all the sound you can carry it on your back.
Yeah. You
Oops.
get people's attention when you play that outside just because of the way it looks.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Whenever I go out busking when it's nice out, I'll sit and play outside in the park or out by the subway stations, and yeah, it's hard to get through a whole song because people will stop and ask you questions like, "What is that? Where is that from? What is that instrument?"
Yeah.
And it's always fun to see that enthusiasm and reaction when someone sees a different instrument like this. You're like, what planet is that from?
It is really wild. When are you going to come busk in Nashville,
Oh man, I
Rob?
would love to. I got to do it. Let's make it happen. Soon. Maybe this spring. When's a good time to come down?
I
You think
think the
March?
spring is a wonderful time in Nashville because we have a lot of cherry trees and blooming trees that are beautiful in the springtime. Nashville
Yeah,
really is. It's a wonderful season, and I've been trying to get you to come here. You've been here
I know.
before.
A long time ago, yeah, when I was like 15 years old. It was my high school girlfriend. Yeah, had an uncle out there. Oh, still he still lives there.
Well, you got family, and I want my listeners to know that when Rob came here before, he made a pilgrimage to Jerry Jones' guitar shop.
That's right.
You showed me a picture of yourself. You're in front of Jerry Jones guitar shops, and as you know, Jerry Jones is retired, but he's very much alive, and I know where he lives. And maybe if you come to Nashville, we'll go
Oh
knock
man,
on his door.
go visit. That'd be great. But it was so funny because back then there was no website or no internet, So I had his his brochures that I would get from Carmine Street Guitars because I ordered the Jerry Jones through Rick at Carmine Street. He was one of the dealers, local dealers here in New York City. So I had a baritone I ordered. I ordered the pickup short horn like the Jimmy Page style one in black and white. Then the guitar lin I got, and then
Hmm.
I found the electric sitar, which I actually found on 48th Street. It was the old row of music shops, like Rudy's, Sam Ash, Manny's. But it was in the window. It's an all white
I've
one with
heard.
the matching headstock. Yeah. So I saw it and I had some money from work and saved up from working at the Subway sandwich shop in my neighborhood, and actually bought it. It was like $900 back then, which was a lot of money. This is probably 94 or 95 or
That was a
96.
lot of money.
Yeah. So I can't remember what exactly. Probably was 94. Anyway, so yeah, so that summer when I went down there, yeah, I just kind of looked at the brochure and I saw the address. I would call him once in a while as a fan, asking him questions about it. And yeah, he was really nice. He would take time and talk. Talk
Awesome.
about some instrument ideas I had. And back then I was always thinking about harp guitars too. Because he made some double necks. With the 6-string bass and the guitar. And I was saying, oh, it's similar to these harp guitars that I like. But like I said, no one was building them. Back then. Not many people, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was great. It was kind of funny that we took the picture. He wasn't there. I guess they were closed for vacation that day, or they weren't in the shop. But yeah, it'd have been cool if they were there and I got to go inside, check it out.
That's so awesome. Shout out and review to Carmine Street Guitars, Rick Kelly. You and my friend Eric Campbell have both told me that I needed to go in there, and I made several visits to them in the last couple of years, he and
Yeah,
Cindy there. And
yeah,
I
they're great.
asked Rick Kelly, how in the world did you start to happen to sell Jerry Jones guitars up here? And he told me he came and knocked on my door one day and asked, if I would carry his guitars or be interested in being a dealer. And that's
That's so
when
cool.
I think I really started to revere Jerry Jones because he's not only a great craftsman, but that takes a lot of hustle to get up there and knock on
Oh yeah,
doors. And, he's from Jackson, Mississippi, just like me.
right. That's so cool.
Go up to New York and talk to these guitar dealers and say,
Yeah,
hey, will you sell my guitars? So I really love that story
that's
about
awesome. Yeah, I love it.
you buying your first one from Rick Kelly. Rick Kelly was a dealer of Jerry Jones guitars. I guess the reason why I want to give him so much of a shout out is that when I think about the ones that are owned up there, I think to myself, Rick Kelly probably had a lot to do with putting Jerry Jones guitars in the hands of a lot of people. I
Oh,
don't,
think so.
I,
Yeah, in New
yeah,
York for sure.
and that's, amazing because they were made here in Nashville. So, and this is
Right,
before the internet, before people were buying and selling guitars online so much. But
right. Yeah.
speaking of which, he's just plugged in one of many. He's got a flock. It's not a.
Yeah. Do you have a flock of electric sitars for
He
sure?
has a flock of electric sitars, and this is that your blue one?
This the blue one, yes. I have them tuned different. The sympathetic strings here, so you could
Yeah.
see they're tuned with a wrench. So I have three of them in, three or four of them in different tunings. So this one is kind of like an E minor tuning right now. The green one's not cooperating today, but that's good so that it doesn't want to stay in tune today. But it's all right. This
Yeah.
one's in tune. But yeah, so this one, you, I just love that tone. It's so simple. It's a fully hollow body masonite. You got these, which are supposed to be sympathetic resonance, but I was a little different because I like to finger pick them. A lot of people ignore these strings on the instrument,
Hmm.
or they tune it chromatically and just do it once in a while. But the way I play, I kind of incorporate it into like finger picking melodies with these, like a harp, kind of like you said,
Yeah.
the gateway to the harp guitar. And it almost reminds me of the sound of a Wurlitz. So when you put a little tremolo and reverb on it, like a Wurlitz at piano. So it's so much fun to play these things. Something like that. So yeah, it's always fun to
It's
play these,
so
and just kind of
angelic.
yeah, just the sound of those sympathetic strings. I just love it.
It
But
almost
yeah,
seems like bells ringing.
I can see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
bells or
Percussive.
yeah. So I wish the green was in tune because I have a lot more tunes on that one. But this is cool. I'm gonna work on some new tunes with this one actually, in this tuning. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to mess around with this one. But
I
yeah,
love
I
it.
can never get tired of the sound of an electric sitar. It was
Okay,
funny
here's. Yo, I'm
because
sorry. Go.
one thing when I was talking to Jerry Jones about it, when I was a kid, when I called up his shop, and he's like, "Hey, make sure you don't use it on every song. You might drive people crazy." He said something like that.
Too late.
I thought that was hilarious. He said
Well, you drove me crazy.
that.
I
What is
have a
it? Yeah,
question for you as a musician and a longtime collector of these instruments. When you're recording, what do you feel the difference between Jerry Jones' baby sitar? And I'll point out to you that thanks to you, I have one. The Jerry Jones baby
I love that one.
sitar is solid. And also, thanks to you, and here's another reason why you got to get your ass to Nashville.
Look at
I've
that.
got Ian Williams.
The Nepco, yeah, that's so cool. I can't wait to meet that guitar. Yeah, it looks so cool.
In many ways, you are responsible for this guitar because you and I were talking about it. Then I heard from Ian Williams, and you've got to play this. It's got two pickups. So
Right, right,
it's somewhere between the baby one and the master with
right.
no
Yeah.
sympathetic strings. And I've seen a lot of other people play it, and it's got great range because
Mm-hmm.
it's got two pickups designed to go together that were made by Rio Grande pickups. And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, you got to play this one. But I'm
Can't wait.
curious what you think about the difference between the baby and the master in recording.
Sure. Yeah, I love using them both in the recordings. I did use the baby one a lot in my album Airwaves for like overdubs, and it has more of like a snarly kind of sound. 'Cause it's only one lipstick tube pickup, and
Yeah.
it's all the way by the bridge. You could see behind you. So it's gets more of a trebly sound, but also because it's a solid body, it gets more of like a kind of whirly kind of sound with that buzz bridge. Um,
Hmm.
and it sounds really badass with some fuzz and distortion. Yeah, you get some really fun sounds on that one. And then the master one's more of a yeah, gets a more whirly kind of sitar sound because it's solid. But the master one is hollow, so it gets more percussive and like a fuller sound. But the baby one's good for layering parts, because it kind of like really stands out in the mix.
Yeah.
But and then same with the master, but it's a little more of a full bodied sound, I would say. So I'd say the baby's closer to like the frequency of a Telecaster, on the bridge pickup, because it kind
Yeah.
of cuts through real snarly. I love it. I love that sound. So yeah, so they're both very useful in the studio for sure.
Glad to hear your take on that.
Yeah. Oh, if you listen to one of my tunes on Airwaves, there's a song called what's it called? Strawberry Moon, and I used the baby sitar on that one, and I
Yeah.
also overdubbed the master sitar too on that. So you get to hear both of them in the same track.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets a really snarly sound on that song, Strawberry Moon, on that album Airwaves. So yeah.
It's And you use the harp guitar on airwaves too, right?
Mm-hmm.
On some
Yeah.
places, in
Mm-hmm.
addition to a Les Paul.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of Les Paul on that album. Yeah,
It's an
besides Jerry
interesting
Jones, yeah.
mix.
Yeah, I'm really into the Les Paul, and you know, I have a R9. You know, it's a 59 reissue from the custom shop, and it's just such a spectacular instrument. So inspiring to play. You can just play like one E chord. I know a lot of guys say that, and you just like you feel it, you know. But yeah, it has a different flavor, you know. That's what's good about, you know, I guess collecting or having a bunch of different
Yeah.
guitars. That each one will bring a different feeling or a different song out of you, you know. So Les Paul brings more of the, I guess,
Yeah.
the rock and roll Thin Lizzy, you know, kind of sound, you know, which I love, like, you know, melodic, you know, melodies and harmonies. And then, you know, Jerry Jones and Lipstick Tubes bring out something twangy and different, you know. Each one's different. This one's
Yeah.
really different too. This is the newest one in my collection. This is a strange bird, really odd bird, this one.
Yeah, let's hear. Let's hear.
So this one is a 1966 Mosrite. It's
Hmm.
a Joe Maphis model. He was a session
Wow, that
guy,
headstock is.
crazy headstock. And look at this. And this is called a German carve. The way
Uh-huh.
they designed this little top on there, it looks really classy and cool. And Mosrite, he used to work for Rickenbacker Guitars before he went out on his own to make these. So I believe Rickenbacker had a similar kind of carve on their tops.
Hmm.
This one's really interesting too. I think it's semi-hollow. It's got like a spruce top, which is odd for an electric. And I think that's a walnut back. But these pickups sound pretty killer. I would say second to Lipstick Tubes, these ones here. They're kind of like, they're single coils, but they're unique, you know, kind of similar maybe to a Jazzmaster, but
Hmm.
a lot more chimey. The Ventures in the 60s would use these guitars too, as well as, you know, Jazzmasters from Fender, but really cool instrument. Yeah. So I'm getting the new one. It needs to be set up, but I could kind of play a couple chords on it.
Was this something that was an impulse, or had you been tracking this bird for a while?
I always had them on my radar, and I never played one until 2 weeks ago when I was in Rivington Guitars in New York City. I love that shop. I was in there just saying hello to Sam,
Shout out
my
to
buddy. That
Rivington
yeah,
Guitars. They're always very nice to me when I go in there.
oh
Shout out
yeah,
to Rivington Guitars on Rivington Street.
yes. And so I was looking to buy a pedal. I got a JHS delay pedal that I needed the delay pedal for my board, so I got that. And then I used this guitar to try out the pedal, and then I accidentally bored it.
Oops. You tripped and fell into a new
Yeah,
guitar on Rivington Street.
right. But it gets that really cool, you know, old school sound. And I love this little whammy bar thingy.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's got a really nice tone. These pickups really do sound incredible. So I can't wait to get to know it more. But yeah, it was an accident. I guess I don't know about impulse. It was just like I started coming up with riffs in the store. So I was like, all right, maybe I should take this home too. I didn't
Oops.
plan on buying it, but I did.
It's a beauty.
Yeah, it is cool.
They always have an interesting selection in there, and their prices are great. And the reason why I feel like I have to say that, I live in Nashville and I travel all around the country, and I do go to New York, and there's this perception that if you buy a guitar in a guitar shop in New York, that you're going to pay too much for it.
Mm-mm.
And that's not true. Because when I've been to Rivington and 30th and Chelsea Guitars, I find their guitar prices to be in line with all the other guitar
True.
stores, and that they can do that in New York where the real
Right.
estate's so expensive.
Right. No, it's true. Yeah. Yeah, they got some good deals there. Yeah. Yeah, they had a couple Danos. I thought of you. They had a Silvertone amp and case model. And what else did they have? They had another, like a U, it was a U1, I think it was, yeah. Or
Mm.
U2.
They always have a good selection of lipstick pickup guitars
Right.
in there. Something, Silvertone or something. Love them.
Yeah, I sold them Jerry Jones maybe 2 years ago, and it sold in the shop really quickly. It was the black and white Jimmy Page one that I sold them. And then,
Ah,
yeah, yeah,
awesome.
the three lipstick tubes in it. So yeah,
Maybe I should give them my Vinnie Bell Coral Sitar to sell.
yeah. I mean, they might
Something
give
to
you a
think
good deal
about.
on it. How much you selling for? Or we
Okay.
could talk after.
Well, no, I'll say this because I would like to sell it. And if anybody is listening, I can talk money without talking money. If you go to Reverb and look for Vinnie Bell Coral Electric Sitar in good or better shape, that's as original as mine, my price is the best of all of them.
Nice. Okay. All right.
Okay, so that I told, and the reason why I'm saying that is when I started telling people I was selling it, people would say, "What do you want for it?" And I would say this, and I think they just wanted to know what my guitar was worth.
Right.
And so I think to myself, that's kind of rude. And if you just want to know what you should pay for a Vinnie Bell Coral Sitar, go to Reverb. It's all there. You'll have the prices. And
Right.
one might be a great price, but it's in Milan, Italy,
Hmm.
or something like this. And
That's
mine
true. Yeah.
is the only one that I have found for sale that is less expensive than the one that I am selling is the one that they have at Chicago Music Exchange right now.
Okay.
And since you spend a lot of time on Reverb like me,
Right.
you know that it's been there for several years. It's
Yeah.
been there for
I
at
think that's the
least,
one that the bridge is altered. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
different buzz
It
bridge. What's
also
not the
has
original?
not the original neck.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
And you'll see it has a new neck. It says Dan Electro, and it doesn't mean it's
Right.
not a great guitar. It just
Yeah.
means that it's not the same value as the one that I've got, which is all original. If you, I'm just saying that for mine to be in the condition that it is, I have the most compelling price out there. So if you want to know how much a Vinnie Bell Coral Sitar costs, go to Reverb. If you'd like to buy one from me, hit me up
Right.
because I've got the best deal. Okay,
Good.
here's another way. They have one at Carter Vintage right now. That is
Hmm.
a beautiful specimen, and it's as good as mine, maybe a little better. I think it's interesting that they still have the patent pending sticker on the back of it. And theirs is 20% more than the one that I'm
Oh
selling.
wow. Whoa.
So now we've talked price, but we didn't talk price. So I would love to sell
Yeah.
that Coral Sitar. I bought it just this year. I got trapped just like Rob Mastrianni does. Had to have one. And then I bought one. And as you well know, our mutual lipstick pickup academic, Doug Tulloch, sold me
Yeah.
one. And so
Oh
now I have
wow.
two.
That's great.
Doug Tulloch sold me one that I had been pining for some time, and now I have two Vinnie Bell Coral Sitars, and I don't
Great.
need to, and so that
Yeah.
I'm selling
Yeah.
one. So thank you for letting me pitch it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great.
Anyway, I might deliver. I really don't want to ship it because it's vintage, and I hate to take the
Hmm.
risk. And I think if I'm in Nashville, why in the world should I have to ship a guitar?
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely someone in Nashville that's gonna want it. Or
But if
studio.
somebody
Yeah.
up in New York buys it, maybe they could convince me to deliver it because
There you go.
I love an excuse to go to New York.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for letting me get my own gear talk pimping
Of
in.
course. Yeah.
And I told you when we started today that I wanted to talk about birds. And
Sure.
I know that some people might be more interested in gear than they are in birds. I'm going to ask you, do you have any other gear talk before I ask you a few questions about birds?
No, we could move into the birds.
So, Rob works as a New York City Park Ranger, and I'm sure you're a conservationist and a naturalist about all things. You're learning about
Hmm.
everything from trees to all the things that you have to manage on your daily basis. But
Yeah.
one reason why you were uniquely qualified to be a park ranger is your experience with birds of prey. Is that the word?
Uh, Falconry. Yeah.
Falconry. And I want to bring together bird watchers and music more than ever next year with this podcast. I want to maybe call my next season Call of the Wild. just like we
Hmm.
did today.
Right.
Because noticing that the same people who love birds love music, they go hand in hand. I'm continuously not surprised to read about people who do illustration and bird watching to find out that they're a trombone player or a cellist, or in your case, a guitar player.
Hmm.
And you play other instruments too, but they really do go together. And I want to ask you about what's going on in bird watching in New York, because New York is one of the greatest birding destinations in this country. New York City is one of the
It is.
greatest
Yeah.
birding. So many reasons to say that because of the vast conservation that's gone on there. You have all of that green space.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah. Just like Central Park is like a hub for migratory birds, and was it over like 200 or 300 species will pass through, and it's really incredible. I remember you mentioned snowy owls because that's the big buzz right now out in Chicago, which is awesome.
Hmm.
But in 2021 in Central Park, we had a snowy owl that spent a month or so with us, and it would hang out in like one of the baseball fields. And yeah, it just attracted what a crowd, of bird watchers, and the press was there, everyone with their scopes and cameras. But yeah, that was a rare one, that was really cool. And I remember this is like maybe I can't remember when it was, but it had to be like 10 years ago. My buddy lived in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and it was in the winter, so he looked out his window and he saw a snowy owl on the roof on the apartment building across from him, just, at eye level. I was like, he texted me, saying, "Hey, Ranger Rob, what is this?" I was like, "Oh my God, it's a snowy owl." It's like, it's on a rooftop in Brooklyn. So that
Was
was
the
pretty
one
wild.
that was getting all the attention, was it male or female? They look different. Do you remember
You
what
know
it
what? I can't
was?
remember. Yeah, I
The
don't
males are
recall. Yeah.
really all white, and I think that that's
Right.
just why they capture people's imagination. They're just like they look like something
Yeah.
from wildlife fantasy.
Right.
And the females are mostly white too, but they have coloration on the wings.
Yeah, so this one was probably female then. So I remember it had the speckled dots on it, the dark, black dots. So yeah,
Yeah. And
beautiful. Yeah.
I, th- I don't know if you know much. Do you learn much about migratory patterns in your work? Or,
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, because we get to
yeah.
see the different birds that come into town, in the parks that we work at. So, yeah, yeah, it's incredible. Like for instance, like over here in New York City, there was a ranger, a national park ranger that put a GPS on a osprey, pair of ospreys, and so they left during the migratory season. They left the nest and they went all the way down to like Central America or Venezuela or something like that.
Hmm.
And then they both came back, separately. I think the male got back first, and the female came back. Yeah, and then they started nesting in the springtime. But yeah,
It's
so they went way down there, to Central America.
It's
Yeah.
so, bird migration is so fascinating to me because it's such elevated evolutionary intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
People are still trying to figure out how do they do this and know and have the sense and everything. And I'm glad you mentioned the GPS because when I talk about, what bird banding is, you could
Mm-hmm.
say that to a citizen and they would not know what you're talking about.
Right.
When I say bird banding, what do I mean when I talk about people who band birds?
Yeah, so that keeps track of them. So if they're found on the ground, they'll have this little band on their leg, and that just identifies them when they got captured. It's a little data log, like
Hmm.
when it was, what the month was, how estimated how old the bird was. Certain birds you could tell how old they are from their plumage in their first migration, especially with like hawks, red-tailed hawks.
Hmm.
But yeah, so when I first started working as a ranger, we had a bald eagle restoration project. I may have mentioned it last time we chatted,
Hmm.
and we got to raise four eaglets, and we got to band them. They had a special band, it was like red and black, but it also had a GPS unit on them too. So I was able to track them for a couple of years until the GPS stopped working, and they had the bands, of course. And then I was doing a Google search for bald eagles in the area. This is like maybe 10 years after that project when we raised those eaglets. And then I found one of them nesting just 8 miles from where I live here, just out in New Jersey. So I found it because I did the Google search. I saw like some birders from New Jersey. They're part of the Audubon birding community, and they were posting pictures of this eagle, and I saw the bands on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the one that we raised here in Woodhill Park. So I went over there, and this must have been like 2011 or something, or 12, I can't remember. And yeah, it was like, I felt like a proud dad going to see a grandfather, because it was a female, the one that we
Yeah.
raised here. So she had a nest, a mate, and she had, a couple offspring that year. And she nested there for like 3 years. And then eventually
So
there was a construction project that happened there, and then they got scared off. And then she moved into the Meadowlands area. But yeah, so with the bird banding, so that's how I was able to track that one from the number on the band, and the color, tells you where it came from. So yeah. And
mm-hmm.
people, the bird watchers that, were there, they looked up the band number too, and they knew where it came from too. So when I emailed the bird watcher on their website, or whatever it was, Facebook, they knew right away, like, oh yeah, you're the guy who raised it in Emmett Hill Park, so it's here. So that was a
Bird
great
banding
feeling.
is it's important for conservation and learning, and they were
Oh yeah.
doing this. They've been doing this for years, and my dad participated in some of these activities in his book. And but I wanted to explain to anybody who might be just learning about ornithology
Right.
and bird watching what that is when you talk about bird banding, because it helps you keep track of your progress. And what you told me about that GPS, of course, that's a relatively new technology.
Right.
To be able to put a GPS on a bird and watch this is amazing amount of data. And my dad, who died in 2007, would be in awe that you're able to track that.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
snowy owl is a Arctic bird. That's
Yep.
why it's exotic to have them there in Chicago and New York, because it feels Arctic right now, but it's not
Right.
Arctic. It's just cold. But I was surprised to learn that the snowy owl has gone extinct in Sweden.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And I thought that's an interesting thing. They've gone extinct here, and then they're showing up over here. And so I went to look up the snowy owl, and it's a migratory bird, but it's nomadic. If it doesn't like where it is, or it doesn't have enough prey, it leaves. See you later.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, of course.
They didn't have to be in Sweden
Hmm.
for any reason. It's just part of the interesting world of bird watching.
Oh yeah. And we get them down here in the wintertime on the beaches, like Jones Beach, and there's another beach in Queens, that I think Fort Tilden. We've seen them there. So yeah, in the
Yeah.
wintertime, I guess that because it's the beach, habitat kind of looks like the tundra from where they're from up in the
Yeah.
Arctic, hanging out on the sand and stuff, or on sand dunes. And yeah, they'll hunt like all kinds of critters and mice and rats and other birds too. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful bird, beautiful predator too. Great bird of prey. And I'm wearing my the dopest birds of prey shirt, as you can see here. So you got the silhouettes. So starting with the eagle silhouette. Oops, sorry, I knocked my
Yeah.
microphone. So that's the eagle. What else do we got? The boodio. A boodio is a red-tailed hawk,
Okay.
rough-legged hawk. You got the falcon. I don't know if you can see that silhouette. There you go.
Hmm.
Kind of like streamlined body, for speed, because they could dive bomb at 240 miles per hour. They're the fastest animal in the world, peregrine falcons. And what else do we got here? Oh, the cipiters. Yep. So the cipiter is a forest bird of prey. So they have a longer tail, so they could like rudder in between the trees in the forest. And bootios, like the red-tailed hawk, their wings are wider for soaring. So when they're hunting, they're just soaring over like a meadow or like a big baseball field here in New York City, and then swooping down to grab their prey. So they swoop
Yeah.
down. Peregrine falcons will hunt in flight. So like I watch them from my window here because they nest on the George Washington Bridge. So if there's like pigeons flying by or something, they'll fly up a couple hundred feet above it, then swoop right down with their talons and a fist and smash into them. Sometimes you'll see an explosion of pigeon feathers. And then they'll grab them in flight. And if the impact doesn't kill the pigeon from like 200 miles per hour, they have a special notch in their beak, the peregrine falcon. So they'll just pull the spine of the bird or whatever prey that they're hunting, pull the spine right out, and it's instant death. It's pretty metal, peregrine falcons. So
The
yeah,
world of birds is it can be very violent. And now
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
love to
especially.
watch these birds on either YouTube or shorts on Instagram, I love to watch them. And, watching them hunt must be complicated for a vegan to watch this. The natural world is predatory in many ways.
Yeah.
And I guess you know this, but the bald eagle, it's so funny that it is our national bird because the bald eagle is an opportunistic
Hmm.
bird of prey, meaning it likes to steal from other birds.
Yeah, well, well,
Uh,
it takes advantage of an easy meal too. So yeah, opportunistic for sure. But they're great hunters too. So they'll,
oh
obviously
yeah,
they can
yeah.
see a fish in
But
the
you'll
river
see
from like
them
3 miles. Yeah.
you'll see them hunt the prey from another animal, and grab it,
Oh yeah.
this kind of thing, and
Yeah,
it's
I watch them
fascinating.
steal from ospreys all the time because
Yeah.
ospreys and bald eagles share the same habitat next to a river or a lake. Because ospreys specialize in only fish, but
Yeah.
bald eagles are opportunistic, so they love fish. That's their main prey, but they also take dead deer. They'll take geese, rats, squirrels, all kinds of
Hmm.
critters. But they also steal from the ospreys. So if an osprey swoops down, grabs a fish, eagle sees it, they'll chase after it, just grab it from their talons, from the osprey's talons. You see that all the time on the lakes around here in New York or in New Jersey, any of the rivers.
I finally had a chance to see more of the Hudson a few weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago because you live on the Hudson. I told
Mm-hmm.
you I was excited to take a car trip around there, and I got to see lots of birds in the natural world surrounding the Hudson River. Okay,
Yeah.
here's next birding question.
Excuse me.
This movie Listers, people
Mm-hmm.
continue to reach out to me and go, "Oh, there's this movie about bird watching. I know your father was into bird watching, and didn't he have some kind of record?" And I go, "Yes." And I watched the first half of Listers. You're aware of
Mm-hmm.
this movie Listers?
Yeah, yeah, I heard of it. I haven't seen it, but yeah, it definitely it's on the list of stuff that I want to see.
It's not so much about birdings. It's kind of like Bill and Ted's Excellent Birding
Okay,
Adventure.
yeah.
I
I
have to
know bird
be
watchers, they do get very competitive for sure.
Yes, they get very competitive. And my sense is that these two gentlemen that did the movie saw an opportunity to do a documentary that they thought would be funny. Because in reality, during well, I only watched the first half of it, and they kind of make fun of a lot of bird watchers.
Right.
And
Well, I
since my
gotta
dad,
recommend. Yeah, I gotta recommend a funny skit. If you haven't seen it already, I'll send it to you. It's
okay,
Conan O'Brien goes bird watching in Central Park, and
okay,
it's hilarious. And I worked in Central Park for many years, before I moved up here to this park. But anyway, just watching like you're saying, it's very competitive, and there'll be like groups of birders that compete against each other, or they won't share like what they saw. Or they don't want the other person to get it on their list. Like
yes,
they have to up each other with their life
yeah.
list or whatever. But anyway, this skit that Conan O'Brien does is hilarious. So I'll send you the link. It's really good. You can find it on YouTube if you put in Conan O'Brien goes bird watching Central Park. It's great.
I'm
And a lot of the
loving.
yeah,
Yeah,
there were
go
birders
ahead.
that I knew from the park that I would see there every day. So they weren't actors. They were real bird watchers that go to the park every morning. So yeah, and Conan O'Brien was there.
It's really interesting for me growing up with my father having this record to watch the competitive world of bird watching bloom. And people ask me what I think about it. And I think it's great because as a sport, there's not much more harmless than bird watching.
Hmm.
But as a park ranger, you know that it can get out of hand when they hassle these birds out of their nests and territory. And
Yeah.
another thing that's happened in addition to this increase of listers is you have what I call the bird paparazzi.
Yeah, yeah,
You
we have
know
a
what I'm
lot of that in
talking
New York City.
about.
Yeah, yeah. Once there's word that a bird like the snowy owl or whatever is in town, there's like boom, there's like hundreds of the paparazzi birds. It was so
They're
funny.
looking to sell pictures too, and
Probably, yeah.
to add it on content and to submit it to National Geographic. There's a million
Of course,
reasons
yeah.
why people want to get that shot. You talked about etiquette. You really do. If you really are there for the birds, you need to pay attention to the etiquette of respecting the wildlife of
Right.
birds. And I was reading somewhere that some of these wildlife photographers who are also equally as competitive in getting the shot do these things where they try to coax birds of prey like owls out of hiding by feeding them or this kind of thing, and that is
Right.
frowned upon.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
not.
good.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a big part of a park ranger's job, or just to educate people on why that's not right. You're disrupting their nesting, their yeah, and it just even if they're visiting a migratory bird, that could stress them out, and then they'll just leave. So it's important. I know some, like you said, they're trying to get that shot, maybe to make money or it's competitive, but they kind of lose all sense of respect or boundaries. You always have to give your distance to wildlife. Don't get too close, don't stress it out. So yeah, that's a big thing that we have to deal with. So that's what a park ranger does, just to, to educate, so and protecting the wildlife. So
Yeah.
and teaching people how to coexist, not get close, and yeah, be have your burden etiquette together.
I
Yeah,
gave
absolutely.
you a copy of my father's book. I want you to hold it
Oh
up. We're
yeah,
gonna.
I have it
This is
here.
our bird watching book club. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of this. Hold on.
Nice, you got it.
One great thing in defense of my father, he obviously wanted to break that record for a reason, but he not only broke the record, he smashed it in July and then
Right.
spent the rest of the year trying to get 700 birds because he thought it was possible. And technically, if you read the book from start to finish, he did see more than 700 birds, but they would not let him count some, one of them being the scarlet ibis. If it blows off course and it's not native or it's not migratory, it might be a captured bird,
Mm-hmm.
a pet, or whatever. These don't count for the American Birding Association. ABA is still
Right.
the main birdwatching enthusiast regulatory commission, if you have one, or civic
Right.
organization. But he saw a few birds that he wasn't able to count because he couldn't either verify the sighting or they weren't considered eligible at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I'm pimping my dad about this is that he grabbed the brass ring in July. He spent the
Yeah.
rest of 1979 trying to see as many birds as he could because he thought it was possible. And what he did was used other people to do it, which is
Mm-hmm.
something we now call crowdsourcing.
Right.
And this is a much better spirit. He was asking people for help. If you
Mm-hmm.
see this bird, show it to me. And I think my dad, as into the sport as he wasn't so competitive that he turned around and wrote a book about it the next year to tell people, if you want to see 700 birds, I'll tell you where
Nice.
they are. So he was so he was a pioneer in this
Mm-hmm.
sport of bird watching, and he was one to be admired for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I love it.
Anyway, I appreciate you letting me talk about birds. Next thing I want to do before we go, I want to talk about bird
Yeah.
record. You and
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
talked about the music of birds. That
Mm-hmm.
flute that you were just playing is very bird-like.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a
What does it
couple that.
sound like? What kind of bird does that flute sound like?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Let's see. Yeah, this one. Let's see. This one's. It imitates the trills and certain sounds that they rhythmic sounds that they make. But this one's
Yeah.
cool because it's got a drone, so I could do. So yeah, I have a small one too in my I have a whole collection of flutes. I could do a whole other show. But there's one that does like an eagle call. Yeah,
Do you ever feel like when you play those outdoors that it gets birds' attention because of the
absolutely. Yeah,
noise? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I would think so. I don't think it's disturbing them, but yeah, I
It
kind
it
of
they're
add to
they
the
listen for
ambience.
things.
Yeah.
I noticed in some of the videos of the archives of my dad chasing birds that
Mm-hmm.
these guys will go into the woods. They're trying to make noises that are not calling birds because they can't do that really. But they're trying to make noises that would arouse their intention and get
Mm-hmm.
them to sing so they can identify them, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that. And I've seen people actually it happened to me once by accident. I was showing off a screech owl call, and the screech owl actually answered and actually flew up to a branch above us when we were doing a night hike. I was like, oh boy. And I used to know a guy who was really good at making bird calls, with his voice, and he would, and the screech owls would answer, and sometimes the barred owls would answer too. Barred owls have that
Yeah.
so yeah, I know some people that are really good at that, and they will answer. But don't do that during the nesting season because that could, stress them out because they, territorial.
Oh, good to know. Um, you're my bird, Mr. Manners, Mr. Manners.
All right. This is a cool instrument. I'll show you real quick. This is made out of cedar wood, which is this is aromatic cedar. Wish you could smell it. It smells so good.
Ugh.
So this is another drone flute. My buddy Singing Tree Flutes, my friend Miguel made this one. So
Hmm.
it's really hard to play, so I'm going to try it. Let's see. It's a little temperamental. Yeah, so I love that tune.
I love it.
So,
We talked about recording birds. Have you recorded any birds? You need to get out there with a good mic
but I
and
did,
record some
yeah, I did
birds.
get like a little field recorder. I started to last year because I wanted to record just the sounds, just outside, whether it's birds, insects, or frogs and stuff. And then, yeah, and I got into like kind of playing music, you know, along with them. So I took back the track. Then I
Hmm.
would record it, put it in the computer and then record some guitar or some flute music, trying to keep the rhythm of what was happening with them, not playing over what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I love doing that with actually insects, at night, because sometimes it sounds like a symphony. You have all these different directions of sounds,
Yeah.
these insects and intertwined with certain, bird sounds too at night. There's a bird, which was it, the whippoorwill. I can't remember which one it was. It was a nighthawk, I think. There's another name for it, but they have a
Hmm.
really interesting sound.
Hmm.
So at nighttime, so yeah. So anyway, that's something. Yeah, I would like to get into recording different, bird sounds and yeah, try to do something musical with it or add to it.
Yeah.
But even just
I've
listening to
been
it, it's relaxing. Even without adding music.
completely. The reason why I've been thinking so much about birds and music, I use the Cornell app Merlin. You just hit a button. I'm very lucky where I live in Nashville. I've got parks and DOT land and mature canopies all around me, and I have birds all around me,
Yeah,
including red-tailed hawks. And
nice.
so I can
My
go out there
favorite.
in the morning and they're just going crazy. And so I hit my Merlin app and there it
Right.
goes. Mourning dove, cardinal, blue jay,
Yeah,
grackle. And they start coming and I'm sitting there listening and then I'm watching them pop up on my screen and I'm like, this is a natural symphony.
it
And then
is.
yeah, it is musical. I believe in evolution and
Hmm.
we evolving with nature, and these are natural sounds, and this is where music came from. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely helped inspire it. Yeah, to make vocal melodies, absolutely, and
Yeah,
sing.
right on.
And actually, I had it real quick. I had in college. I had a music professor. She was from Hungary, and she was like our ear trainer. So she taught ear training, but she would transcribe bird songs and like notate it and stuff. And then she would imitate these sounds with her voice. Her voice was incredible, really amazing vocalist and singer.
Uh,
And she would, yeah, transcribe. I have to find that book. I have it somewhere. It might be at my mom's house, but yeah, it was incredible to see how she would transcribe these bird songs into music notation and actually perform it, which is
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, yeah. Look at that. I'll send it to you. Yeah, once I find it.
It all goes together, and I'm going to keep talking about this and trying to get more people interested in bird watching as a sport, listers aside.
Right.
Just the practice of watching them is becoming popular with people. Bird feeders and books that
Mm-hmm.
help you sit just on your front porch and identify them. And
Absolutely.
I think it's such a gentle and wonderful sport. And also, you can do it anywhere. And I just think it really is my dad. He was always looking up. He was always looking up
Right.
and noticing you can be in the middle of something really awful, and those birds will be up there if you want to just watch them and ignore
Exactly.
everybody else.
Exactly. That's what's great about it. And yeah, like I said, New York City is a great place for bird watchers, for bird watching because you'll have so many different species just in one little square park. And growing up in New York City, I was always obsessed with birds of prey, and it was really rare to see a red-tailed hawk. But nowadays, we have them in Tompkins Square Park, which is, as a kid, I would never imagine that happening.
Yeah.
But thanks to their conservation efforts, and of course, DDT was, made illegal. That's that pesticide that, made the
Yeah.
eggshells really fragile and thin. So anyway, yeah, stuff like that really helped bring back birds of prey into the city, and they're really part of the urban ecosystem. That's what I think. I love all birds, but I'm obsessed, as you know, with birds of prey. So
Hmm.
with the red-tailed hawks, the peregrine falcons, and now we're getting great horned owls that are hanging out in a lot of the parks. And this time of year is really exciting for the winter because you know bald eagles will gather on the Hudson River. So if there's ice in the river, there's a couple ice flows today. They'll sit on the ice floe and just kind of float down the river. It's so much fun to watch that.
Yeah.
Because they'll use it as a hunting perch and just like kind of like a little raft to travel down the Hudson River. And years
Another
ago,
bird that was greatly endangered, the bald eagle. When
absolutely,
I
yeah.
was a kid, I made some trips out to Texas this year, and I was paying attention to the birds because Texas is a meaningful bird migratory pattern.
Hmm.
And the birds in Galveston that really blew my mind were brown pelicans. Do y'all
Oh
have
wow,
those?
I've never
And
seen one. No, not here. Yeah,
you'd think a pelican. It's not that big of a deal, but wow, watching them, and they are the birds that fly in a pattern like this, where the flock, and they're just moving, but they have a massive wingspan. And
hmm,
these things are flying all over Galveston, Texas. So I go to my phone to find out the history of brown pelicans, and once again, this was a bird that was literally on the brink of extinction
right.
until
Yeah,
they got rid of DDT.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, another
Thank goodness. Yeah.
bird that was saved by conservation
Mm.
efforts.
So, so yeah, that makes me really happy to see that.
There's some good news in conservation. There's bad news always, but there
Hmm.
is also good news. And that's another thing I love about my dad's book is that some of these birds were more rare when he saw them and
Right.
less rare today.
Hmm.
So that's why we should keep up these efforts and
Absolutely. Yeah.
keep capable park rangers like Rob
That's right.
Mastrianni.
Thank you.
Anyway, well, that'll do it. We talked about gear. We talked
Yeah.
about birds. We talked about the year. Have you had a good year?
Yeah, it went by really fast. Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe it's already Christmas in another week, 2 weeks, or whatever. But still, yeah, the
It
year flew by. It was good.
it's been a
Yeah.
year since I've seen you.
Wow. Yeah, I was trying to think of the last time I saw you in New York City.
Last December, I was there for the
Wow.
Christmas season. I think it
All
was
right.
around your birthday.
All right. Yeah, that's right. I saw you when, yeah, it was actually on my birthday. It was when I released that single, that song Sleepwalk was the first single from the album that came out in January. And I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
I saw
it's
you
a
play
caravan. It was a cafe.
another
Yeah.
legendary
Yeah.
restaurant
Yeah.
in
Great
New
place.
York City.
Caravan
And
of
I had an
Dreams.
incredible meal there, and that
Yeah.
was a,
Great food.
a f- fun place. And you always have shown me a great time there in New York, and you also let me know where all the great food is.
Yep. I'll be there on Wednesday performing. So yeah, on the 17th. Yeah, I love that
Awesome.
spot. But
Well,
yeah, hope to see you soon back up here, come back. And I got to figure out when I'm coming down to see you down in Nashville. do some busking with the harp guitar and
Because
check out
I'm
this.
not
Yeah, I
traveling
want to check.
with this flying sitar. I have a flying
I
sitar,
love it.
and it knows how to fly, but it's not going to fly to New York. So if you want to see it, you got to
All
come
right,
to Nassau.
that sounds good.
Well, thanks for coming back and rounding out my big year with another rare bird sighting, because you are a rare bird. Rob Mastrianni is a rare bird. He's the red-tailed hawk of Manhattan.
Oh, thank you. I like that.
Hey, did I tell you that I've decided what my bird is?
No, what is it? What you got?
Another thing about bird watching is when you start to study them, you're like, wow, there's a lot of gulls. There's lots of terns. There's lots
Hmm.
of ospreys. There's lots of warblers. And there's one called a Nashville warbler. Did
Oh
you
yeah,
know that?
yeah. I think I may have seen one up here at Central Park during the migration.
Migration. It's one
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
longest things. It's
yeah.
actually, it goes like up to Antarctica and then all the way down to South America, and it does not
Amazing.
live nor breed anywhere in North America. The reason why it's named the Nashville warbler is the first recorded sighting was in Nashville in 1811.
Wow.
And I said, that's me. I'm the Nashville
Right.
warbler.
I love that.
I don't belong here, but I was recorded here once. It's
That's
a
great.
songbird and it's yellow, so I love it.
Yeah.
I'm the Nashville warbler, so we're going to say goodbye. We're signing off the red-tailed hawk of Manhattan, Rob, and the Nashville warbler from Nashville, Tennessee, Emily Vardaman Walters of the Lipstick Pickup, signing off. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah. See you soon.
Always. All right. I hope to. If you hear excellent tone and the sound of birds chirping, it means you've made it through an entire episode of the Lipstick Pickup podcast. You're as free as a bird now, but I hope you'll join me again soon. Comments or questions? I can be reached at emily@thelipstickpickup.com.